Jeremy and I, the other night when we had dinner, we're talking about Justin Turner and how he's become such a credible ball player. And if the Mets had him, maybe they would still be playing.
You keep talking about Jeremy Lin like he's your best buddy. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Why are you upset that
Are you really
friends?
hanging out with Jeremy Lin now?
Well, the reason he's doing this is because, I have Linsanity, and I've had Linsanity since the
I know
day
you
it
have.
took root. And
Yes.
I've been following Jeremy everywhere he's been. And every time I bring up that Jeremy's done this and Jeremy's done that, all he does is go, he's overrated.
It was 3 weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys are just jealous that I'm friendly with
I'm
the guy.
not jealous. I
I'll put him
didn't
on the air
jealous.
right now and prove it.
No, you won't.
Did I deny the fact that
Joining
you're
us on
friends
the
with
highlight
him?
right now is my dear friend that you're
God.
jealous of, Jeremy Lin. JJ, what's cooking, babe?
What's up, man? How you doing?
That's not the real Jeremy.
These guys
Lin. That's
are
not the
all-
real Jeremy. This is your buddy. He's like calling in Stephen
That's right.
Kent.
I have my buddy calling
Stephen
pretending
Kent.
to be Jeremy Lin.
Yes.
They just don't like the fact that you and I forged a friendship. It bothers them. They're insecure about it, and that's their problem. The fact that we've, bonded over basketball is our thing.
Time out. Let me just do this. Hold on, Jeremy. If it is Jeremy, because I don't believe it's Jeremy. How do I know it's you, Jeremy? Who was your college coach?
Tommy Amaker.
How do I know Tommy Amaker?
How do you know Tommy Amaker?
Yeah.
Why would he know that?
I don't know, because I think I told him.
He don't know.
I don't know how to confirm. I don't know how to confirm my identity.
Yeah.
Other than you guys probably wouldn't have let me on air if it wasn't actually me.
That's a very
But
good
me and
point.
Carton definitely have been having a lot of meals together, and I know some people just don't have friends, so they get jealous naturally. But hopefully this squares things away. I know you guys are having a huge debate about it.
Jeremy,
Appreciate
why
that.
would you do this to yourself, Jeremy? Really, honestly. Why would you lower yourself to this? You're so much better than that.
Thanks, I preach. I'm sitting next to you.
Well, I'm just saying, he is so much better than that. Well, all right, I'll acquiesce. This is the real Jeremy Lin. Jeremy, welcome back to New York. I got to tell you, I'm one person in this studio that's very happy to have you back here.
And I appreciate it. It's good to be back for sure.
We were talking about this the other night, but the guys won't get it. Listen, coming back to New York's great. Obviously, the Nets are going to. It's going to take some time for the Nets to become a competitive playoff type team. But you came back because of one guy, I assume, and that's the coach, right?
Yeah.
Walk people
yeah.
through what he meant to you when you were on the Knicks, and obviously he was an assistant with the Knicks. There's a lot of guys that speak about Kenny the way you do, that he made you, obviously God-given talent, but if he's not in your life as a coach, you've said that you probably don't make it as far as you made it.
Yeah, and I think, that was a really crucial and fragile time for me because I had just gotten cut twice, and I was really lacking that confidence and unsure of what I could do. And the one thing that Kenny always did was he made sure that I would work, and I would work extra hard. We'd be the first ones there in the morning. And then we would just do a ton of work. And so I guess the thing I really loved was his passion for the game, and that's kind of why I always believed in him as a head coach. So when he actually got the job, it wasn't even so much like, we were friends and we were close, and he was always watching my game still and texting me even when we weren't on the same teams. But it was that I knew how much he cared about it and how passionate he was about the game that made me really think, hey, this, we have a chance to turn this thing around because he's in charge.
Interesting, as we talk to Jeremy Lin, Brooklyn Nets point guard for sure. A lot of stories came out that when Sean Marks came here, the GM, he noticed that there were a lot of players that were lazy, players that were late to meetings, players that didn't, hold the team accountable. And I'm not going to name names because they're not on the team any longer. Can you tell us how different it is now with Sean and with Kenny and everybody else, and how this thing is being run over there?
Yeah, this is the most detailed and structured plan I've ever seen, and I've been a part of 6 organizations in 7 years, and this one, in terms of the level of structure, the level of detail, and all that is next level. How much they care for their players, how much they do for their players, all of that is just I've never seen anything like it. So there's definitely, once you get in this system, you're kind of like, it's hard to be late. It's hard to, be lazy because everything is built in for you. You see everyone else doing it that way. You see all the staff, all the trainers, everybody, they're working hard too. And so there's definitely that that energy or that vibe that you kind of like feed off of each other.
You think, Jeremy, that they're trying to recreate what's going on in San Antonio and how much success they've had there?
I think for to some degree, definitely that's a baseline model, and I think that's a good question because I think in so many ways, if they were just if I felt like, oh, this is just going to be San Antonio and only San Antonio, then I probably would have my agent go talk to San Antonio. But I think it's more of just they're adding in a lot of those elements. But I've talked to Kenny, and he's taking bits and pieces from everywhere. So it might look a little bit like San Antonio, it might look like Atlanta in terms of the baseline themes and what you're trying to accomplish, because I do agree that's what it takes to play winning basketball. But he's going to add in more other elements from other things that he's seen. So it's going to be also have his flavor to whatever you do, the offense, the defense, everything.
Talking to Jeremy Lin, for the first time in your career, you're in a different spot. You're a veteran leader now. When you had when you first got discovered with the Knicks and had that great run, it was, wow, who's this kid? Is he real? Then, of course, you get a big contract. You go to Houston. You've been around now a little bit. But more so here than any other place in your NBA career, you're now the guy. You're the leader. You're the starting point guard. And I wonder what that's like for you coming into a camp like this where you're that guy as opposed to one of the other guys.
Man, I can't even tell you how much fun it's been. It's different because I haven't been in this position as kind of the leader or whatever, the guy with the voice and the responsibility since college. But up until college, I had always been that guy for every team I played on, basically. And so to be back in this position, I can't even explain. Like, it's so fun, and it seems so natural to me. Just because that's what I know, and I think my personality in a lot of ways is just, I want to be the guy in charge, and so I'm having a ton of fun, and it's been a blast, and it's a huge challenge ahead of me, no question.
Not just that,
I'm enjoying it.
When you played here previously, you lived on Landry Field's couch. I assume you got your own apartment this time around.
I do. Yeah, I got my own place now, so I'm good to go.
Any young Nets sleeping on your couch?
No. No one crashing on my couch. But if they ever, and they would sleep in the guest room before they slept on the couch.
Go. And let me ask you this before we let you go, and I respect that you're here to talk Brooklyn Nets basketball, and that's why you're on. But when you look back now on the way things started and then ended, with that whole Vegas meeting and the Knicks not matching and the Rockets, all that stuff. Do you look back? Are you thankful to the Knicks for the opportunity? Did you leave with any type of acrimony with the Knicks? And what's your relationship like with whether it be James Dolan or the Knicks organization?
That's a really good question. I think, am I thankful? Oh, are you kidding me? I have to be. Not, and I don't mean that as obligation, but I'd be crazy not to be thankful for the opportunity and what they did, the fan base, the organization, them picking me up, giving me that chance. Like, that was my lifeline, and so I'm definitely thankful. Am I sad? Like, looking back, I would say I'm definitely sad the way it happened. I'm disappointed the way it happened. I felt like it didn't happen the way I expected it to, and honestly, like, I haven't even completely figured out exactly how it happened or what happened. I'm still hearing what other people are saying and piecing it together and figuring out the whole story myself. Because honestly, during the whole situation about the free agency thing, I wasn't like, no one was directly communicating with me, so I never really knew what was going on either, to some degree. And so I'm definitely disappointed, but I'm also glad that it happened that way, because I know, like, as cliche as it sounds, but I know God has a perfect plan, and I think I've grown so much as a person, and I think the one thing I really learned is how to enjoy this game and how to enjoy this NBA experience. And I didn't feel like during that time in New York, I was able to do that as a person individually, because I was so caught up in everything else, what I was trying to accomplish, trying to be what everybody else wanted me to be, et cetera, et cetera. And so going through the bumps and bruises, it's made me completely different.
Let me say directly what we think went on, and you tell me if you felt it or if I'm right. There's the thought, and I believe this, so I'll say it's my thought, maybe no one else's, that there's a racial component that because you're a Chinese-American player, that certain African American players in your locker room, J.R. Smith being one of them, did not want to accept you as a ball player. And when you were offered money to play and this big contract comes your way, there was resentment because of where you're from and who you are. Did you ever feel that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a hard question because I've never spoken to him or anybody directly about it, and so it's all speculation. Do I think that? I've never spoken to JR about it. I've never spoken to whoever else you might think about it, and so it's hard for me because I don't want to come out and speculate. I will just say the one thing I will say is, look, race has been a huge part of my journey ever since I was a child trying to play basketball. So I do think there's always that type of component that will be involved. But again, I've always said it's a double-edged sword. It comes with the good, it comes with the bad, and the bad is sometimes I'm different. I look different, and I'm treated different, and then. And that's a negative thing, and in some ways, that's a really positive thing too. Like Linsanity wouldn't have been Linsanity if I was, white or black or whatever. It was part of the reason why it was so crazy is because I'm Asian. So, to answer your question, I do think like race definitely plays a part into it. I think it always has, and to what degree or to how much or to who felt what, like that, I can't really specifically have a good answer for you.
Oh, I know, Jerry. You're too smart for all of us. That's the only thing I can tell you. You're well thought out. You think these things through and everything else. Can you believe that J.R. Smith got 4 years, $57 million? Well, I know you can't say that, but I can say that. I can't believe he got it. But good for him. He got his money. That's all that matters. You got your money. You got a new team. You're a new leader. You're at home in Brooklyn now, and I'm happy for you. I hope nothing but the best for you, except for, of course, when you play our Knicks.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on.
Jeremy.
We'll see you out there at Barclays, and thanks for the time this morning, and good luck next Tuesday at Boston against the Celtics as the Nets start their season with Jeremy Lin as their captain and point guard. Thanks for the time, Jeremy.
All right, thanks. I'll see you for dinner, Carton.
No doubt. There's my main man, Jeremy Lin.
I can't believe he is loaded himself.
I'm messing. You guys think I'm messing around?
I'm the guy that was, carrying his banner. I'm glad you asked that question, though. And it's a tough question for him to answer.
By the way,
he doesn't know. He doesn't. Oh, he can only go by what is. And I hope he's smart enough to know. And I will be the first guy in line to buy the book, because I want to buy the book that he writes about what Linsanity meant to him, and then what he just said about how he left and how he doesn't really know what happened and how it happened. I hope someday he gets the answers that he's looking for, and he writes it down in a book and writes what I think will be a very thought-provoking book.
Hey,
Hi, I'm Boomer Esiason. I had Linsanity.
If you wanted Jeremy